Born from the ashes of classic arcades, founded on the desire to save that experience and bring it home, and tempered by the vision of sharing that fun across generations, now and in the future. We are gamers. We are makers and designers. We are Doghouse Arcades. And this is just the beginning.
Hello there, my name is James.
And I'm Brian,
And we're standing in what we hope will be our first commercial building.
where we plan to make quality home arcade cabinets and virtual pinball machines
That are easy to assemble.
and sturdy enough to last a lifetime.
We've come a long way since these initial prototypes. These are our latest revisions, but they do have a few tweaks still before they're ready for mass production. We plan to paint and vinyl wrap all our complete cabs once we have the model designs perfected so they look like polished units front to back. Each cab will also have a 4K resolution primary display and a VR-ready PC built right in. They'll be ready to go right away to start building an amazing collection of games. We're hoping to finish talks with a screen maker that can get us a higher refresh rate for the VPin Cab playfield so virtual pinball looks as great in motion as it does sitting still. And it already looks pretty sweet with a regular 60 Hz screen. Over roughly the past 3 years, we've been quality testing and improving the guts of our prototypes. And early this year, we started redesigning our cab exteriors to make them super easy to build and as modular as we could for disassembly. We were using a local makerspace and their CNC machine to make our revisions. But when the pandemic struck, access was closed so we couldn't get our designs fully polished. We managed to find a place nearby we could use commercially and began cleanup of our future site. And this is where we hope to finalize our current products and keep on innovating with new cab designs and accessories to bring home arcade games and even home arcade rooms to the next level. This really is just the beginning of all we hope to accomplish. We need your help to keep going. Let's take a look inside. One of our first goals is to get a CNC machine in-house. We already have a space right here prepped and ready for that machine. Having the CNC machine will enable us to rapidly prototype and really finish the raw parts of our designs to come up with some truly amazing builds.
The site doesn't look like much yet. Over time, we'll be able to expand into more and more of the building, and we have plans to keep our environmental impact as low as possible. The roof gets plenty of sunlight throughout the whole day and has space to add more solar panels. We hope to reduce most, if not all, of our electrical needs through the solar panels, making the building as green as we can. Back when I was a kid, I used to take trips with my father to arcades quite a lot. We used to go more for my benefit than his, but he did enjoy playing pinball. One particular time, I watched him play. He certainly seemed to shake the table a lot and really get the ball to fly all over the place. I tried mimicking what he did on a nearby Addams Family table, and I caused it to tilt. My father joked that I'd get in trouble with the arcade owner for tilting, with a big old smirk on his face, I'm sure, but for me it was traumatic enough that I stopped playing right then and there. I all but abandoned playing pinball for years. And then those trips to the arcade started to become less and less frequent as I grew up. My father and I eventually stopped going altogether. And then 16 years ago, he passed away from cancer. My days of hitting the arcades with him were officially over, and adulthood required me to shift my focus. While working on home improvements about 3 years ago, my wife and I decided there was a perfect little spot in the basement for me to make a bit of a shrine to those memories. I began looking for a low-cost used cab, just a little escape from the everyday and a nod to those times I shared with my father. While looking online for a cab, I discovered I could build a more modern cab of my own with all the games from my childhood and perfectly sized for my available space. And oh boy, did I dive deeply into my project. So much so that I got in a little bit of trouble with my wife from all the time and effort I put into it. And I know my father used to have his own projects he'd dive into and end up in the Doghouse for. So that's when I came up with the idea of Doghouse Arcades. It was sort of a nod to how much time I spent and how I managed to be much like my old man. He might not be around anymore, but at least I could reconnect with him by building a cab. And during my research, I discovered virtual pinball and found a version of that Addams Family table I played as a kid. I knew I couldn't break it since it was just software, so I gave it a try, and by replaying that table, I was able to see just how much fun pinball could be, and got the chance to understand and enjoy something my father used to love. I really got a chance to reconnect with him. Now, I can play and enjoy these cabs all day, but there's so much more we could do through Doghouse Arcades. Most arcades have been shifting away from the games and experiences I had as a kid and focusing more on ticket redemption games. I want to share the fun and help others share the same enjoyment I used to have as a kid, and share it with friends, family, and across generations. Through Doghouse Arcades, we'll be able to help others share in the fun of both classic arcade games and virtual pinball. I hope you'll consider backing us and maybe pre-order one of our products so you can enjoy these classic forms of entertainment too.